Can you see me?
I can't. I'm not looking.
Oh.
Yeah.
We'll see if it lasts.
I was doing a little bit of like suits, and we're going to exchange. Oh, it's so cold. It's November. I'm so cold. I'm so cold.
It's really, really cold.
It's cold.
It's really, really cold.
It's not even winter and I'm cold.
Let's warm ourselves up with some books.
Are you excited? It's November. We're here. Oh my God.
We're here.
Yeah.
Feels like we've never left.
This year has gone by like lickety-split, like insane.
Yeah.
I can't believe, first of all, I can't believe that it's November already. And I can't believe that we're already like basically 6 months into this channel now.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Almost. We're almost there. Well, we're so glad that you stuck with us and that you've been here, and welcome back to our channel. I'm Craig.
And I'm David.
We are self-possessed, and we are here to reveal our November TBR, though we're after last month, that word TBR is a little bit triggering for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
So we're hoping that this month will be a little bit better and that we can, go a little bit easy on ourselves. So
Which we will.
Yeah. I don't know that you're going to find anything heavy in this video, so if you're looking for heavy books with like lots of pages, deep meaning, I don't think you're going to get it this month. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to break it to you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. We're going to reveal our November books and what we picked, and then we're going to do our surprise TBR. And we're back to wrapping paper because it's almost Christmas.
This says so much about who we are in this marriage.
Well, to be completely transparent, I picked one book, wrapped it, and then decided I didn't want to do it. So I unwrapped it, and I wrapped this one instead. So I wasted a lot of paper, which is why David didn't have any left.
But
So
we had plastic bags.
we have lots of plastic bags. So
So
we're going to get to our surprise TBR at the end, and you'll kind of see what we picked for each other. But thank you for coming back. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe down below and comment, what are you reading for November? What are you excited about? Or have you read any of these books that we're going to choose? We'd love to hear your thoughts and your opinions.
Also, what has been your favorite books of 2021 so far? Yeah, because December is coming up and, it's the end of the year and we're going to be talking about probably a group of our favorite books that we've read this year, books that we liked, books that we enjoyed, and,
When we did that in June, we kind of did a mid-year, our favorite so far, and we're going to revisit that video as well a little bit in those books that we chose and see if they make it onto our end-of-year list.
Yeah, because I look back on that list and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's drastically changed.
Yeah.
I think there's a few books that are still on there, but I'm really excited to see because I have my group that I'm ready to talk about.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I have a very strong feeling that I will be able to pick at least his top 5. I think. We also might do another fun video where we predict each other's favorites of the year, which could be fun, and see how accurate we are versus what we thought. So that should be interesting as well. So come back for that video, hopefully in December at some point. So
I mean, there's a small group of books that I just remember, and then there's a lot that I'm like, I don't remember ever reading that, but I did because there's proof because there's a video of it.
Yeah.
So.
But that is all what is to come, and we are so grateful that you're back, and we are going to dive right into our November TBR. Do you want me to start? I have more books, I think, than you do. So
why don't you start then?
Yeah. I should also state, I don't know why I did this to myself again. I say this every time. It's like my eyes are bigger than my stomach, and so I picked more books than I probably should have picked, plus whatever David's going to give me. So we'll see how this pans out, but I'm hopeful. I'm already pretty much finished with one of them, and I started it yesterday, 2 days ago. So by the time you're seeing this, I probably will be finished with that book completely. So the first book I am reading is The Charm Offensive by Alison Cochrun. You will see a theme running through as we go through my books, but I purchased this like 2 months ago. I had seen it online, and a couple people had talked about it and talked about how fun it was and good it was. And I'm not usually like a huge romance reader. I've read a few, like especially queer romances. I've read those. I don't read romance beyond that typically, and so The Charm Offensive is a queer romance that takes place on the set of like a bachelor-style dating show called Ever After, and it is about the prince that they have cast for that season, and then his handler and what happens between them as the show kind of progresses and their connection grows. It's kind of unexpected given, a reality show, dating show, what you expect. So the romance in here is relatively unexpected and not what you would imagine would happen. And it's also got, a person of color as the lead, and one of the characters is neurodivergent. So there's lots of representation in this book, which is great. Lots of good representation in here in this book. The author is a high school English teacher as well, so I have connection with her that way, and I'm really liking it so far. What I've read so far, I really do enjoy it. It's fun. It's very frothy, very light, but it's also very sweet. And I think after last month, I need something a little bit sweet. So my first choice is The Charm Offensive by Alison Cochrun. Yeah.
Why don't you do another one, because I only have 2 here.
Okay. I had purchased these next 2 books with the intention of reading them in October, and they did not arrive in time for me to put them on my TBR for October, so I thought I would just save them. So they're a little bit more themed towards the the spooky season, but we're still kind of in that time frame, so that's okay, I think. My next choice is Payback's a Witch by Lana Harper, and the only thing I knew about it was that it's a romance about a coven of witches, and that's all I needed. So it says, the witch is back and ready for revenge with a little help from her friends in this fresh, sizzling rom-com by Lana Harper. So I'll take a witchy-themed romance any day, and I'm excited to read this. The cover is also really great, and the title is also great. So I'm really excited to read this. I kind of wish I would have had these for October, because I probably would have read them for October. But my next choice is Payback's a Witch by Lana Harper.
So I'm going to say last month and September were really horrible reading months for me. Well, I don't want to say, because I didn't talk about the books that I read, like kind of in the gaps of reading my October TBR, because I read a lot of great books in the gaps. But I didn't want to do that again this month, so I decided to retreat back to authors that I loved. And Angela Carter is one that I always go back to whenever I am in a reading slump. So this is Nights at the Circus. I have not read this one yet, so I'm looking forward to reading that. I was in the middle of reading The Sadian Woman that she wrote. I was doing some research stuff for my own work, and that book popped up, so I was in the middle of reading that as well. So Angela Carter has kind of been in my world for the past couple of weeks, because I've been kind of diving deep into that book. So I decided just to stick around with Angela Carter for at least this month as well. So I'll be reading Nights at the Circus.
It's also a beautiful cover too. That book's cover is beautiful.
I think all of her books have really beautiful covers too.
Yeah.
That Bloody Chamber one is also
perfect.
Probably my favorite.
Yeah.
So we say that Angela Carter is, for me anyways, it's always like going home. So,
and it's good to pick things that you're going to like, or authors that you're going to like, that are you know what the experience that you're getting into is. So that's great. Yeah, smart for us probably too. So, well, as I said, there was clearly a theme. My next book was actually, I believe it was an October Book of the Month selection, but I saw this book pop up several times, and so I wanted it for October. But again, by the time I ordered it, it didn't come in time. But that is The Ex Hex by Erin Sterling. As I said at the beginning, I'm not a huge romance reader, so the fact that I picked 3 romances is kind of insane. But this is a witchy-themed romance, just like Payback is a Witch. And the tagline is never mix vodka with witchcraft. So, I'll be curious what these 2 books do with this idea of witchcraft. The fact that they're sitting on a broom in the moon is a little bit disconcerting, but the book sounds so fun. It sounds so frothy and light, and like I'm just excited to read it. Like I think I'm going to tear through these pretty quickly. So this is Erin Sterling's The Ex Hex is my next choice. Yeah.
All right. My next one, I wasn't even going to read this book for this month, but I started reading it today when I got home from work, and that first chapter kind of got me, and that is Rachel Harrison's The Return. You bought this, right? A long time ago.
Yeah, I bought that from Book Outlet, actually.
So this was just sitting on our shelf today, and I didn't really want to start anything really new today, but I was like, I need to do something. So I kind of saw this. I'm like, well, let me read a chapter and see if I like it. And it starts off really great. And that first chapter was like, a woman goes missing. 2 years later, she returns, and her best friends are like, what the? Where has she been? And she comes back a changed person, and everybody is kind of going out of their mind because they don't know who this person is. It's their best friend, but she's completely changed. So I'm excited to read this. This was her debut novel, so I'm excited to kind of read that. So yeah, Rachel Harrison's The Return.
She also has a book that I've seen all over Instagram and BookTube, which is called Cackle.
Oh, yeah.
And the cover is great for that book, and I've almost bought that instead of these. So if you like that, I may end up purchasing Cackle and reading that as well. Because I've seen people talk about that book all over. One of my favorite YouTubers is Jordaline Reads, and she's talked about Rachel Harrison a couple of times, and even had her on her channel. So I'm anxious to see what you think about that book. So.
I'm very interested in people that are either like they're kidnapped or they kind of run away and then they return. For some reason, there's been a theme in the past couple of weeks. Okay. What else do you got?
My last one is actually a book that David purchased for me in October, and I had started reading it but hadn't finished it, so I was like, I'll just toss it on here. And David had been talking a lot about Amy Gentry and her writing, and I was doing a little bit of searching, and I happened across the fact that she wrote for the 33 1/3 series, which is a great book series that kind of dives deep into albums and talks about the creation of the album and the response to the album and like the author's visceral reaction to the album. And Amy Gentry wrote a book about one of my favorite albums of all time, which is Boys for Pele by Tori Amos. And she wrote this, which is the 33 1/3 dissection of Boys for Pele. And I have to tell you, the first chapter is great. It's absolutely great. Gives you good context into what Amy was thinking when she first heard the album and her reaction to it, and all of the titles are I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but they're all titled "Why Can't Something" because of Tori's failed first album, "Why Can't Tori Read," which is a phenomenal album. If you ever have a chance to listen to it, you should. But I love this album. It's one of my favorite Tori Amos albums of all time. And the fact that one of his favorite authors wrote a book about one of my favorite singers was like, well, that's serendipitous. I should probably pick this. And I buy it and then read it. And it's very short. It's very tiny. And I love this album. And I like Amy Gentry from what I've read so far. And I've only read this, but I did like what I've read. So I'm excited to read this as well. So, I mean, you did tell me that I would like her, so you shouldn't be too surprised, right? That is my stack. It's kind of big, but also I think these are easy to get through. Now, depending on what you choose for me, that stack could change, obviously, but that's mine.
And here are my two books that I'm going to be reading. But I think I'm going to throw in some other books there. If I get done with these really fast, there's a few other that are kind of on deck just in case if I get through these really fast this month, which I think I might do. So I'll throw those in at the very end, or I'll kind of keep you posted on Instagram if anything new kind of pops up.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm tending to go back to kind of authors that I love and
stories that you love. Yeah. Types of stories. Yeah. Also, the book I picked for you is relatively long, so it will add some pages to your page count at least. So, I guess it's that time again. Are you excited? It's time for our surprise TBR So these are the books that we picked for the other person. We're going to exchange these, unwrap them on camera, and reveal our surprise TBR choices. And I am very excited for David to read this book, and I've been wanting him to read it for over a year, and now I finally get a chance to, like, slip it to him.
He's going to love this book. Guarantee it.
Predictions. And I think David will love this as well, so we'll see. So,
all right. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
You open yours first.
No. Okay.
You have less books than me.
All right.
Do you know what it is? Just based on that?
No.
About now.
Oh. Okay. All right. Craig chose We Ride Upon Sticks.
By Quan.
Okay. Why did you choose this book for me?
Well, this is one of my absolute favorite books of 2020. Like, we got this book early in the pandemic, and I tore through it, could not put it down, loved it, was really baffled by it and confused by it at the beginning. And then the last chapter is beautiful, and the way it's tied up is just great. And it's about witches, first of all, so that's, tying back to what David was reading last month and what I'm reading this month.
From what I did read last month.
Yeah. And it's also set in the 80s. Oh. Which you love. There's lots of 80s references. It's fun, it's campy, it's silly, it has some heart to it. It's also, a little bit scary. So there's lots of great things in this book. And I was recently on the way to work listening to NPR, and they had Quan on talking about the book again. And I was like, this is a book I would reread. Like, just to have a second experience with it. And I've wanted him to read it since I purchased it. So I'm so glad that finally you get to read it.
We Ride Upon Sticks.
And plus, that cover is beautiful and brilliant, and
yeah,
it's about a women's lacrosse team or a field hockey team, and how they could become a coven of witches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, I will do it. I will do it for you, the world.
Are you excited about that one?
Yeah. I think you've tried to get me to read it several times, and now that you got me on camera, I mean, thanks.
You can't say no now.
I can't say no.
No.
Not to you.
You're just a girl that can't say no?
Nope. Can do any.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead. Open it.
All right. This is David's surprise pick for me, wrapped in some wrapping paper and a plastic bag. And now I know why you were winking and smiling. Mm-hmm. David picked for me Good Is Gone by Amy Gentry, which he just finished and told me I would love, and wants to talk to me about it. So I was not surprised at all that he picked it. Also great because I have now 2 Amy Gentry books to read this month. Plus we have 2 more of her books, which I also need to read as well. So Good Is Gone. Why did you pick this one for me?
Because I just finished it, so it's fresh in my mind. And after I was done reading it, I wanted to immediately talk to someone who has read it, and I'm like, he needs to read it because we need to talk about it. But I think what I love about it is that it's her first book, but I think the structure of it, I think really good books, when you finish them, you have to go back to the very beginning, and there are some clues that she lays that you don't notice until the very end, and you immediately are, oh shit, I need to go all the way back and try to pick up those clues again. And it's very rare that books do that for me, and this book definitely did that for me, because at the end of it, I was like, went through and was trying to pick up the clues again, which was just, I'm like, this is structured so beautifully and so interesting, and it was just fantastic.
What's funny, because this book sounds very similar to The Return in a way. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's about someone coming back after being gone for a long period of time, and then wondering if this person is actually who they say they are, or what's going on with them. So it sounds like it has a little bit of similar vibes to that.
I think that's one of my favorite genres now.
So here's my question after reading the back. Is it about the detective?
No.
So the detective is not the central character?
No, there's a detective in it.
Okay, good. Because I tend to not like thrillers that are centered around detectives. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I don't. So, but if it's not, then that'll be great. So,
okay.
Yeah, good choice. I'm excited. And look, we have a weird, like, you know,
mix of books for November.
Weird mix, but also like our books are weirdly connected to each other too. So that's cool. So why don't you review your books and then I'll do mine.
Okay, I'm going to start off the month with Angela Carter's Nights at the Circus. Also, Rachel Harrison's The Return. And then Craig picked for me We Ride Upon Sticks, which after a year in the making, I am finally going to read. Yeah.
I'm excited.
It. Plus whatever I kind of throw in.
If you have time.
If I have time.
Yeah, if it gets to it, it gets to it. So, well, my November TBR is first and foremost The Charm Offensive by Alison Cochrun. 33 1/3 Boys for Pele by Amy Gentry. The Ex Hex by Erin Sterling. And Payback's a Witch by Lana Harper. And then David picked for me Good as Gone by Amy Gentry. So that's an exciting little stack there. I think I can probably get through that this month. I mean, I have less to do. We have auditions coming up in a week, so I have about a week off, and then I get to go back into production again. So we'll see if that has any bearing on my reading habits this month. I hope it doesn't. But
get to it.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm almost finished with The Charm Offensive, so and I like that, and I think I'll probably start Good as Gone next, so I can get that done, and we can talk about it.
Who would be on your Mount Rushmore of favorite authors?
Oh, God. That's R.L. Stein.
Okay.
Imagine that face on a side of a mountain. David Sedaris, Sarah Vowell, probably Riley Sager at this point, too.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I know yours would be like Chelsea and Amy.
Uh-huh.
Angela Carter.
Who would be the fourth? I don't know.
Comment down below if you can figure out who David's fourth would be. So,
not Stephen King.
No, I mean you do love Stephen King. V.C. Andrews, that's who your fourth would be.
Probably V.C. Andrews. Yeah. Kicked me off. Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming back to our channel again. We are Shelf Possessed. I'm Craig,
and I'm David,
and we hope you'll check us out on Instagram
at Shelf_Possessed.
And if you haven't already, go ahead and like the video if you can, please. It helps us out so much. And then go ahead and subscribe. I haven't mentioned this in other videos, and I probably should be mentioning it, but if you are a Libro or an audiobook fan, you should check out our affiliate link in the description below, which is for Libro FM. Great place to get audiobooks. I happen to get the ALCs every month, and every month I'm astonished by the choices that they make, and they're so much fun to listen to, and it's a great way to ingest a book without feeling, guilty that you're not like actually physically reading. So if you want to check that out, our affiliate link is down below. And comment down below, what are you reading for November? We'd love to know kind of what you have on the docket this month. So,
and I'm going to need some ideas for December because I have no idea. Usually I'm about a month, ready to go.
I feel like we should read, cheesy Christmas romances.
No.
Maybe that's what I'll do.
That's what you'll do.
Yeah.
It's like you're like the angel and I'm like the devil.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you for coming back. We're so excited that you're here and that you've joined us. We also are hoping to do our 300 subscriber Q&A. So if you have any questions for us about, our lives together, what we do, how we do it, how we met, any of that kind of stuff, put that in the comments below, and we'll kind of tab that on to our 300 subscribers Q&A video, which we're excited to do for you. So thanks for coming back. Again, I'm Craig.
And I'm David.
And we will see you next time.
Goodbye.